Hello, and welcome to a brief series I plan on doing called the quotation mark Overpowered Weapons quotation mark Weapons of Team Fortress 2. In this series, I'll be covering the various weapons of Team Fortress 2 that the community thinks are overpowered and that I think are overpowered. By no means am I going to push my opinions as facts here. Rather, I just want to start discussion and bring awareness. Of course, people will disagree, so do that in the comments. With that out of the way, let's begin. The Machina. This weapon is very infamous in Team Fortress 2, commonly referred to as the body shot weapon due to its 15% damage increase at full charge attribute. But before we begin to any of that, let's look at the weapon's current stats. The Machina sports a 15% damage bonus on fully charged shots. It can't shoot unless scoped, and it fires tracer rounds. At first glance, this weapon doesn't seem too bad really. It seems like a normal weapon with a few changes to its base to make it a little more unique. But in execution, the Machina just ends up being a direct upgrade from the standard sniper rifle. Why is that? For starters, the damage bonus is by far its strongest and only plus that it has going for it. This, however, can feel quite obsolete when you hit a body shot on anything other than a pyro, demo, soldier, or heavy. In most cases, you would have killed them anyway, assuming they didn't have any overheal. However, when fighting against the classes mentioned previously, it can usually be a death wish for them. A fully charged 173 damage body shot is quite strong, and leaves a pyro and demo at 2 HP assuming they weren't fully healed and had no overheal. This is pretty much means that they will get killed by anything that hits them. Comparing this to the sniper rifle's base fully charged body shot of 150, this gives demo and pyro 25 extra health to slip away with. It might not seem like much at first glance, but it makes a huge difference when it comes to chip damage. As for Soldier and Demo Man, there isn't much of a difference. However, when Soldier rocket jumps and gets mid-air body shot, usually he won't survive the fall without overheal. Heavy, he really isn't affected at all, because a measly 23 HP won't make a huge difference when it comes to his health pool being so fucking large. Let's look at these downsides that the Machina has. For starters, the Machina fires tracer rounds. In theory, this would give away your position to the enemy, so you'd be in a tight pickle if they managed to follow up on where your shot was. But when playing sniper, the class rewards you for moving positions and keeping it fresh to keep your enemies on your toes. So, in theory, this downside effectively does nothing to a good sniper. As for the no firing unless scoped downside, it really doesn't make a difference when you look at it in the long run, because most of the time a sniper would want to scope in at their target to possibly get a headshot rather than just firing blindly at them with not scoping. So when you look at it, there isn't much of a downside here to be noteworthy of. So as far as I'm aware, this is pretty much a non-existent for the sniper. Keen viewers might have noticed that I neglected to mention the penetration aspect of the Machina. The reason is because this upside rarely ever comes into play, especially in a competitive scenario. The ability to shoot through players on full charge as well, while sure, is really cool, it is incredibly impractical, and normally won't make any sort of difference for the sniper. Usually, if anything, it'll just hit them and they'll get away because they were already far enough behind them. You might get that 1 out of a million scenario where you would have hit an invisible spy, but it's incredibly unlikely. So, this is essentially a pretty useless downside in the eyes of competitive, and even in casual, it's incredibly rare to ever see these happen. To sum up my thoughts on the Machina, this weapon is overpowered when you look at it in the long run, but really, it doesn't make too much of an impact. When it comes to the competitive community, just recently, the Machina was banned in Highlander and 6s, so you clearly know that it does probably have to be changed for the global whitelist has determined it overpowered or broken. So, will they ever change it, and how will they change it? Who knows? Personally, I would be pretty indifferent. This weapon is at the point where, yeah, sure, you can technically say it's overpowered, but it doesn't make too much of a difference as its upsides are quite niche, and its downsides are also niche. So while being a direct upgrade from the standard sniper rifle, it really doesn't hold its own ground, as most people prefer the standard sniper rifle anyway because of its original design and importance to the character, and of course, lack of art style breaking. As you can tell, this video is quite short. The Machina was a good weapon to start with, as it is a very niche upgrade from the standard sniper rifle, and doesn't have much to discuss when it comes to balancing or how to balance it. So, I'll leave it up to you. Please, leave in the comments below how you would balance the Machina, and if you would even change it or leave it because of its interesting niches that it has. Personally, I would love to see this weapon changed into something a lot more useful for the sniper, as he definitely lacks utility-based primaries, so I guess we'll have to just see where it takes us. But until then, I'll see you all next time for the next overpowered weapon review, and let's just say it'll be a direct one.